Hello, hello, hello. So, as I said in chat, I'm sort of expecting people not to be able to hear me just because that's what's happened the last 2 or 3 times. So, if you can hear me, say yes in the comments. So, I'll write that too. And we'll see. Yay. It's sad because I haven't done anything differently than I typically do in the last few times. Well, Duncan's last session, I wasn't expecting hardly anyone to come in. So one person would come in and I just continue on because, it was a focus on Duncan. I was showing people pet healing. And then later I realized that my sound didn't work at all for the whole show, which is really frustrating because on my end, it looks like things are working. So I'm glad people can hear me. So welcome. Got my book up and I'm glad the comments are working. Yes, and I think it's Mercury retrograde now, isn't it? So it's weird that it's working tonight and I didn't do anything. And yeah. Anyways, so welcome. I'm Summer, and tonight's going to be a really good night. So for my regulars, I typically have been doing the first of the month. We work on your individual issues. Sometimes I do a few group things. We do healing pulses, but I've started adding a second show, and usually it's about the middle Sunday of the month, and that sort of spreads things out a bit. But my goal was on these Sunday night sessions to do things a little differently. But a few of you have already said you've got things that you really want to work on. So how about I give you a choice? So you can either choose that we work on some of your issues, because I've noticed. So I've got a few people. So Sharon, you've got a few things going on. I'm just going to scroll through. And thank you for letting me know you can hear me. Because as I said, my whole Duncan show, number 2, did not record sound other than my intro. It recorded the intro. So let's see. And it looks like Colette's got a few things too. So if you want to do... So if you want to put an individual issue, feel free. Otherwise, if you want to do my positive emotions where you pick an emotion. Oh, thanks, Colette. So, all right, back on track. Sorry, it was sort of like a squirrel ran through the room. So you'll have a choice tonight. So if you want to do your issues, put your issues down in chat. I've got my book going. Would you believe today is show number 171? And part of that was because I did weekly shows during COVID. And then, 2 years ago, I went just back to once a month. Okay, so March 16th. So if you would rather do positive words, I want you to put a positive word in the chat, and I will pick 2 positive words for you. But you'll need to choose between if you want to work on your individual issue or if you want a positive word. And if you're new and you're not quite sure what's going on, just hang out and watch. And when you're comfortable, participate. So we do something called a healing pulse, and we do that typically 3 times. And this works really good for if you've got pain or discomfort. It's got sometimes it can really connect well with emotions. But Not everything works for everyone. So I want it to work for all of you, but that isn't life. So if it doesn't work for you, I'm hoping some of my other things will. I focus on my tools that are the quickest because I want to help as many people as possible during this time. And so we're going to work on things that are sort of based on the emotion code, but I've got other things that I've sort of tweaked. So I don't exactly do it the emotion code way. If you're familiar with that, I've sort of taked it and tweaked it to be my own thing. So let's start with the first healing pulse, and then we'll get going. So what I want you to do is, because this healing is very much dependent on you. And so if you've got something physical going on, like Sherry, you hurt your ribs. So that's where I would suggest you send the energy. So think about where you want to send the healing. And then if you can reach it, I'll want you to put your hands there. Now, if you're going through something emotional, say grief or anger, think about where do you feel that in your body? Like when I get super, super mad, my gut just gurs. And so that's where it lives. But like some people, if they're anxious, maybe it's more like their chest gets tight, their throat gets dry, or maybe it's something that you feel in your mind. You know, are you sad? Where does that live within you? So think about that and focus on the one thing that you want to send energy to. Rub your hands together until they're warm. And when they're warm, I want you to place your hands exactly where you want to receive the healing. And then imagine my hands on yours. And then here's the most important part. You need to allow the energy and the healing to flow because you're getting your own healing frequencies plus mine. And so just imagine with each breath that you take in, the healing goes a little deeper, a little further. And with each breath out, you are releasing something that doesn't belong. Maybe it's not even yours. So you're going to breathe in and out. And if you're one that does breath work, this is a perfect time to do the breath work. Oftentimes I recommend like the box breath just because it's a very simple thing to add to it. So breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Just allow that energy to flow. Okay, so that was the first healing pulse. Usually they're pretty quick. Oftentimes, if you're going to notice something, it usually starts right away. But the second and third healing pulses, usually you experience more. So I'm going back to the beginning of chat. And so Sharon is on my list first. And so again, if you're just coming in, you have a choice. Oh, and Valer's saying lots of yawns. So yawns are a sign of healing because oftentimes you're releasing what was causing some blockages. There's other things that you might also experience, a lifting or a lightening of wherever that was. All right, so Sherry. Ribs, I'm so sorry you've fallen, Sherry. That is just not good. And a UTI. That sounds like a miserable time. Okay, so I'm going down. So if you want to do positive words tonight, pick the word that you would want to imbue within you, and I will pick 2 additional words. All right, so Colette, Now, if you put down a physical issue and you want to focus more on positive, let me know. Because otherwise, I've got Colette's written down some spine issues. Angel Knight, lower abdomen, intestinal issues. Lower. Gosh, I could spell. Intestinal. Francine. It's got sinus. AJ's got some lower back pain. Oh, Valerie's choosing to do the positive emotions. And so Valerie's choosing joy. That's a great choice, Valerie. That's like one of my favorite. And so for those of you who are new, when I say Valerie's name, sort of watch what I get for her. And if we've got time, we'll do both for everyone. So it looks like a number of you have dropped out, which is fine. All right, so Amanda wants to work on clearing blocks. Wonderful. Oh, Maureen's choosing a positive. And Maureen's choosing gratitude. That is a fabulous word also. Okay, I think I'm almost done. But if for some reason I miss you, please don't take it personally, but let me know. Okay, so I just need to get my list. See what we're going to use. I think we'll use this list. And I've got some new tools. I was thinking I should do a sample show where I try a different tool. For my private sessions, I've got I think I'm up to 25 different tools that I use in private sessions, but some of them are rather time consuming. So, but I've got some new tools that it's helpful for me to do a bunch of people very quickly. So that way I can get a feel for, is it a good tool to use or not? So let's see. Okay, so Sharon, we're going to work on your ribs. So let's see if what we're doing, because even though there's a physical reason, because Sharon fell and hurt her ribs. And so some people think, well, how can energy work or releasing trapped emotions help? Sometimes there's a reason why when you fall, sometimes nothing gets hurt other than your pride that you fell. But sometimes, due to the energy in a certain location of your body, it almost draws energy to the area. How do I explain it? It draws the injury to the area where there's something else going on. So let me just see which list I'm using for Sharon. All right, so we're going to use this one. And if anyone has any questions, especially if you're new, I've got a page from something else there. just let me know. Sometimes, especially, I don't explain things quite the best just because I've been doing this for a while. And it looks like most of you have been here before. So like Colette, if you have questions about what I do, let me know and I'll explain it better for the group too. All right, so what I do is I find an event that you're hanging on to the energy of, and normally the body will process and release the emotional energy, but sometimes it sticks around. And wherever it sticks around, that causes part of the body to not function as it should, and it can draw injury into it. So let's see. I just need to get, so I've got an aid, or excuse me, I've got an energy for Sharon. I just need to get an approximate age. Great explanation, Colette. So, Sherry, around age 38, there was an event where you were super stressed, and ages are the hardest thing. So, usually this is plus or minus a year. So, it's 37, 38, 39, somewhere in there. There was something, some energy you're still hanging on to. So, we're going to release and remove that. Thank you, Angel Knight. I'm adding Jeffrey to the comments, or actually to my list. All right, so Sharon, I want you to help me release. Typically, I used to just release everything and be done with it, but I've realized that sometimes there's residual energies. So if you have healing in your background and know how to release it, so help me with that. If you don't have healing in your background, but know how to pray, that is the next best thing. So releasing and removing the energy of stress from Sharon from around age 38. Okay, so that did release. Okay, Colette, you had mentioned you're having some spine issues, so let's see if there's an event that is contributing towards that, because I do get a yes for that. I'm using a slightly different list. Let me just get some more information. So I'm using a different list. I use it somewhat regularly, but this particular entry doesn't always come up a lot. And so, Colette, I'm getting victim consciousness, and it's from when you were about 16. So, somewhere 15, 16, 17. So, and generally, I tell you, if a thought pops into your head or a person, oftentimes that's the right thing that's coming in. So, I don't know if you remember or recollect an event or a person, but there's some type of connection to that in your back. So let's go ahead and release that, Colette. And when I release something, I also imagine afterwards, after the release, I imagine filling any voids with that healing pulse energy. So I am getting that victim consciousness energy released. Wonderful. All right, so Angel Knight, you're next. So she's got some lower abdominal, intestinal, middle tummy issues. So let's see what list I'm going to use. So for most of you, I'll be using a list that has over 400 negative emotions. I'm getting the emotion of misused, Angel Knight. So let's see what age we've got for that and see if that rings a bell. So I'm getting around age 31, so 30, 31, 32, misused. So I want you to just sort of think about it. So the good thing is, for most of this, you don't really have to know all the details, but sometimes that's helpful for release. But most of the time, we can still get it to release. So I've had a client who, when I tell her the theme and the age, she can hone in and tell me exactly what the event was, who was there, and what was going down. And I most recently have another client that can do that, which is quite the gift, that she can just tune in and know what event caused it and that needs to be healed. So we're going to go ahead and release and remove misused for Angel Knight. Well, there's Donna. Welcome, Donna. Okay, Angel Knight, I'm getting that to release. I hope that helps your tummy troubles. All right, Francine is next. Francine's got some sinus issues, so let's see what's contributing to that. And it's the energy of worried. Let me get an age for you, Francine. Sounds like a stressful time, Angel Knight. But a happy time, too. Lots going on, lots of emotions going on, lots of hormones. And so I'm hoping this helps you. So, Francine, I'm getting worried around age 13. So, tough teenage years. So, somewhere 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. So, let's go ahead and release that. So, releasing and removing worry. So, AJ, we're going to do you, and then we're going to do another healing pulse. And then when we come back, we're going to do she's got a positive emotion that she chose. Then we're doing a clearing on Amanda. Then Maureen's got a positive emotion. And then we've got Sharon and Jeffrey too. So Let's see. So AJ's got lower back issues. So let's see what comes up for that. So I'm getting the word malicious, AJ. Let me get an age. Oh, Francine, that's just hard. So that energies continue to be with you. So when you tune into that, Francine, imagine just that worry just evaporating. Malicious. So malicious is, let me give you the official, because malicious is usually something that is not very nice, but that's not a very good official. The meaning of malicious is having or showing a desire to cause harm to someone. So here's another one. Intended to harm or upset other people, intended to cause damage to like a computer system. So here's synonyms for malicious: vicious, cruel, hateful, nasty, I don't know why I have a trouble with malevolent. Oh, good grief. I can read it, I just can't say it. Spiteful, malignant, bad. So hopefully that helps you. But let me get an age for you, AJ, and maybe that will make sense. So sometimes it's just, like sabotage and energy where someone spreads mean gossip about you. Sometimes it's a physical thing. But let me get an age. 21. So somewhere 20, 21, 22, and it done to you. So think of it, especially that age, we're not always as mature as we are as we age when we're 21. So there might have been some sort of mean things, some gossip things, some nastiness that went on to you, or you were the recipient of. So let's just focus on that and releasing that. Releasing and removing that. Okay, that did release. Colette commented on, because I had gotten victim consciousness around 16, and she says at 17, her best friend in high school was killed by a drunk driver. Oh, Colette, that's horrible. But I'm getting that you're linked to that. It is correct. And so just AJ, imagine, if you don't do healing, just imagine, send a little prayer for releasing the energy for that was done to you. All right, so Donna is going to do the happiness, or excuse me, the positive words to imbue, and she's chosen happiness. All right, so we're going to do our second healing pulse. And when we come back, we'll work on Valerie. So with this healing pulse, I want you to rub your hands together. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the healing energy. And so especially you guys with physical things going on, like Sharon, your ribs, Colette, your spine. Although if you can't reach the area of your spine that needs it the most, I want you to just imagine that your hands are there. And so Angel Knight and Jeffrey, you're going to place your hands on your tummy. Francine, your sinuses. AJ, same thing with your lower back. If you can't feel the part of your lower, if you can't reach the part of your back that needs the energy, imagine your hands are there. And then next, so after you've got your hands all warmed up, and placed. Imagine my hands on yours. And then you're just breathing in that healing energy. So being open and allowing the healing to flow. Breathing in. Okay, so that was healing pulse number 2. Usually, if you're going to experience the energy of the healing pulse, you'll feel it right away. But the pulse number 2 and pulse number 3 are usually the strongest. So let me know how you did. All right, so Valerie is doing the positive emotions. So, and how this works is she chose a positive emotion she wanted to strengthen and imbue within her. And then I choose 2 additional positive emotions for her to imbue. Okay, got one more. Good to hear you got the yawns going on, Valerie. Of course, Angel Knight. If you want to just sort of explain how that works, if he's got something he wants to work on. All right, so Valerie chose joy, and we're going to imbue joy, but I've also added unique and progressive. Oh, we've got a little Duncan here. Duncan wants to stop by. We're working on Duncan's eyesight because he's lost quite a bit of his eyesight for no good reason because he's only 5. So, and he loves energy work. So if I'm doing healing pulses or Reiki, he will often climb up on my lap when I'm working on a client on a Zoom session, and he gets right up in between my hands. So he's pretty funny. So, sorry, get a little sidetracked. So with Valerie, so with this, Valerie is a healer too, and so she's going to also reinforce joy, unique, and progressive. So reinforcing and imbuing joy, unique, and impressive. And I'm getting that has been reinforced. So Amanda wants to work on clearing some blocks. So generally, sometimes it's really good to be specific, but sometimes it's good to be more general, because especially if you've got multiple things going on. So we're going to see what comes up for Amanda as a block. And most of the time when I work with blocks, I think about emotional trauma because that's sort of my area of expertise. And so the quickest way is how we're doing it tonight, although I've got quite a few other tools and some they take longer, but I really like how quick this is. So I'm just going to All right, so Amanda, I am getting an energy of unimportant. Let me get an age. Somewhere around 24. So 23, 24, 25. So I don't know if something was going on or you had someone in your life that made you feel really unimportant, but I think it would be helpful to clear that. So, Amanda, just lend support, and if you could help clear or say a prayer. Angel Knight, thank you for that. Sharon, I really do hope that helped. Have fun with your doggy. Okay, so Amanda, that I got that to release. All right, so Angel Knight, Dad. Okay, so issues around pacemaker area, but not cardio related. So it just sounds like some discomfort where the pacemaker is placed. So we'll see what comes up. All right, next is Maureen. Maureen chose the positive, and she chose gratitude. So let's see what comes up along with gratitude. Okay, one more. All right. Maureen got some good ones. So, Maureen, just allow these and reinforce within gratitude, rooted, and praised. And so, like with rooted, I think of this being like more grounded, more down to earth. So, very nice. And I think praise goes really well with gratitude. Okay, so all those are reinforced. Next is Jeffrey. Jeffrey's got some tummy issues. So let's see if what we can do to help him. So getting with Jeffrey, there was an event that there was quite a bit of anxiety around. Let me get an age for Jeffrey. He was quite young, like 8. So something 7, 8, 9. Something that was going on that gave him a lot of anxiety. And that has a lot of anxiety oftentimes can really trigger tummy issues. So Jeffrey, I want you to sort of think about when you were 8 or somewhere around 8, so 7 or 8 or 9, something that made you really anxious and upset. So I want you to think about the emotions that you felt during that time and imagine them releasing. And if you pray, imagine that energy releasing and letting go. And I'm going to hone in and work on releasing it too. But it's always helpful for you to help me too. Okay, I'm getting that released. So we're going to do our next healing pulse. And then I've got Donna and Angel Knight's dad. And so for the healing pulse, so Angel Knight and Jeffrey, I want you to work on your tummy. A lot of the others have some physical things going on. Angel Knight's dad, I want you to put your hand where your pacemaker is and around it, both hands. All right, so let's do this. So rub your hands together. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Jeffrey, you're very welcome. I hope it helps you. And I'm hoping it helps take, because sometimes when you have trapped emotions, it makes it easier to attract those same energies. So if you have anxiety, it tends to bring more anxiety to you. So I'm hoping this helps bring things to a little bit more normal level. So just breathe in that healing energy. Be open and allowing. Breathe in those healing frequencies. And when you release, when you breathe out, imagine you're letting go of what you don't need to hang on to. Releasing and removing. Okay, so that was our third healing pulse. Let me know how you did. And we've got Donna next. So Donna is going to do the positive reinforcement. So she chose happiness. Let's see what goes with that for her. All right, Donna. So Donna chose happiness. And I chose for her respected and thoughtful. I like how those go together. So reinforcing this for Donna. So happiness, respected, and thoughtful. So AJ, that's pretty likely. It's really rare when one trapped emotion can magically clear things. Usually that means that there's more. I often give the example of healing being like an onion, that when you peel an onion, oftentimes there's other layers beneath. And I do find the older you get, if you haven't dealt with stuff, that it causes a lot more layers. So my hope is that everyone on here heals, but I realize that's not realistic. So I do suggest, when you can, stop by for the mini healings or book a private session, and we can delve in with my tools that are more helpful. So, but yes, but I'm hoping that at least lessens somewhat. But I do understand not every healing tool works for everyone. Okay, so next is Paul, Angel Knight's dad. So he's got issues like around his pacemaker, but not cardio issues. So I wonder if it's more of a discomfort in the placement of the pacemaker. So let's see. So, Paul, I'm getting the energy around an event where you felt punished. So, let me get an age and see if this rings a bell to you. You're like 26. So, somewhere 25, 26, 27. So, initially, when I heard the word punished, it sounds like more of a little kid getting punished. But so, this is something you got in trouble for. So not a physical punishment, but more of an emotional one. And so I want you to just ask for a little help on releasing the emotional energies of that. Because especially it wasn't your heart, but it's near to your heart, which usually that means I'm thinking it was like a loved one. So let's go ahead and release and remove the energies of that. Okay, so that did release. All right. Has anyone come in that I need to add to my list? Because that's everyone on my list. So I'm thinking, let me see what we did last month. I think we're going to do some group work. So with this, there is some negative beliefs, but and not every one of you will have this, but the things that come up, usually a lot of you have them. And when I get the list, let's see what page that is. It's I'll give you a percent of you or people watching the replay that have this. Here we go. So let's see what this. So I'm getting there's 2 negative beliefs that we need to work on. The first one is I am no good. %60 of you have this. So 60% of you here now or watching the replay. Let's find the other one too. And some of this, even though you think, I had trouble with that when I'm younger, sometimes there's still a piece of it there, even though you think you might have dealt with it. So if that might be the case, just allow it to clear. And the next one is I am stupid. That's I really dislike the word stupid. Let's see how many have this one. 70% on that. So I'm going to work on releasing and removing I am no good. So lend support, especially if you resonate with that. Okay, that released. Release the energy of I am stupid. And that released. All right, so I think unless anyone has questions, we're going to do the aura strengthening. Everybody's so quiet. Sometimes I think after that third healing pulse, I lose most people because they go to bed. Okay. Although I'm going to do a little commercial. Today is the last day of my birthday sale that I extended because it was through the end of February. Now I put it through March 16th. And so I've allowed people to prepay if they would like to buy sessions for in the future. The sessions are good for 6 months. My regular prices are $150 for a session, and the sale price was $111. And then you also will get an invitation to a Zoom past life regression, and it'll be a pretty small group. If you have any questions about that, let me know. You can email me. So my website is csummerjones.com, which is on the screen. Or if you want to email me directly, it's summer@csummerjones.com. Or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can ask that I contact you. All right, so let's work on aura strengthening. So the reason why aura strengthening is important is because you know that, especially the last few years, there's so much nastiness and divisiveness out there. And it's just sort of crazy. I know the nastiness, even if I'm on the side of the person spewing the nastiness, or if they're just over the top promoting, their beliefs, I really don't want to hear your beliefs when you're so over the top. Yeah, it's too much. Everything is just crazy too much. So with this, especially if it makes you upset, make sure that you're working on your aura strengthening to help repel the negativity that affects you. And so with this, I encourage you to work on your own energies. But if you feel you need a boost, I suggest pulling in the healing pulse energies. And so to do that, or even just to get your own energies activated, rub your hands. And this is all about intention. So if you want to use your healing frequencies, your healing energies, that's what you need to think about as you rub your hands together. And then start sending out to your aura. Now with this, I imagine the aura getting thicker and stronger, more protective. I also imagine a hint of reflectivity, because especially if someone's spewing negativity, I want it to bounce back off the reflectivity back to the person spewing, so they get a taste of their own nastiness. And then my favorite part of doing this is I think about, what do I need today? What would be most helpful? Do I need strength? Do I need courage? Or do I just need love and joy? And then I imagine that bubble all around me, imagine that just being filled up. So just breathe that in and filling up that bubble around you. And that is it for tonight's mini healing. I appreciate you coming, and I really do hope that this helped you. I will be here again on April 1st, and if you need anything, just reach out to me, or if you want to take advantage of my birthday special. But I do appreciate that you have come in and made my Sunday night a little better. So thank you. You are welcome, Francine. And all of you, I do hope that this has helped you.